Hello friend, this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So today I'm back with another video to give a review on another book, which three of them are all about three books which we're going to see today in this video. So the first one which we're going to see today is the Mind, Body and Spirits. So the first one which we're going to see today is the How to Age Disgracefully. This is by Clare Pooley. Introduction. How to Age Disgracefully, written by best-selling author Clare Pooley, is a humorous, heartfelt, and deeply human novel that examines what it really means to grow older in a world that often glorifies youth. Published in 2024, this book brings together a cast of unforgettable characters who lives intersect in surprising and transformative ways. Pooley, best known for the Authenticity Project and Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting, has built her literary career around stories that celebrate connection, vulnerability, and community. And How to Age Gracefully continues that theme though with an added focus on aging, rebellion and rediscovery. In a society that tends to sideline its elderly, Pooley's novel serves as both a comedic protest and a tender reminder that life's vibrancy doesn't fade with time. It merely shifts, takes new forms, and in many cases becomes even more daring. The book is at once hilarious and heartfelt, weaving together themes of aging, friendship, and Friendship and friendship, social invisibility, and intergenerational solidarity. It celebrates imperfection, resilience, and the courage to live fully, even or especially when the world expects you to fade quietly into the background. Plot overview. At the heart of the story is Daphne, a 70-year-old widow who has spent the last decade cocooned in solitude after losing her husband. Her days follow a predictable rhythm, quiet, quiet mornings, silent afternoons, and lonely evenings. That is until she is persuaded, somewhat reluctantly, to join a local senior citizen social club. She expects a dull gathering of old people playing bingo and reminiscing about the past. But what she discovers instead is a lively and delightfully rebellious group that refuses to be defined by age. Among this colorful cast are Art, a charming yet mischievous former actor who has a flair for drama and a tendency to pocket things that don't belong to him. Ruby, a secret yarn bomber who covertly knits bright political graffiti around the city. Lydia, a woman in her 15s, navigating a midlife crisis. And struggling to redefine herself after years of living for others. And Ziggy, a teenage single father trying to find his footing in a judgmental world. Even a geriatric dog named Beryl adds personality and humor to their adventures. When the community center that hosts their meetings faces closure, their efforts to save the center, ranging from creative protests to chaotic fundraising from the heart of the novel. Along the way, they discover the joy of friendship, the joy of friendship, the thrill of mischief, and the power of refusing to go quietly into an old age. Through laughter, mistakes, and unexpected triumphs, they prove that it's never too late to live boldly. Themes and symbolism. Themes and symbolism. Aging and identity. At its core, How to Age Disgracefully explore what it means to age. Not just physically, but socially. Socially, Daphne Journeys mirrors the experiences of many older individuals who feel invisible once they cross a certain age threshold. Society often defines the elderly by decline and loss rather than potential and passion. Pooley challenges this notion by showing that growing older can be an act of defiance and liberation. Through the antics of her characters, Pooley reclaims aging as a vibrant, messy, and meaningful process. Her message is clear. Her message is clear. You don't stop being yourself when you turn 70. You simply gain new dimensions. Daphne, in particular, becomes a symbol of reawakening. Her discovery of joy, friendship, and even rebellion demonstrates that it's never too late to start again. Friendship and community. The novel beautifully illustrates the importance of human connection. Each character, regardless of age, enters the story carrying a burden: loneliness, regret, fear, or shame. But through community, is not defined by similarity but by shared humanity. Their unlikely bond becomes one of the most touching elements in the story, symbolizing the power of empathy across age divides. rebellion and joy. The book's title itself, How to Age Disgracefully, sets the tone. It's a manifesto against respectability politics, and the quiet, polite aging that society prescribes. Instead, Pooley's character finds freedom in misbehavior, humor, and defiance. Their rebellious spirit, whether it's art, mischievous schemes, Ruby's yarn bombing activism, or the group's audacious protest against the council, represents a joyful resistance to invisibility. Pooley suggests that rebellion in any form is a form of vitality. To age disgracefully is to refuse to conform, to stay curious and mischievous even in one's 70s. It is a kind of moral courage, the courage to keep feeling alive. Loneliness and renewal. Loneliness runs quietly through the book, not as a tragedy but as a human truth. Many of Pooley's characters live in emotional isolation before finding the group, a reflection of how modern society tends to separate people by age, lifestyle, and circumstance. The novel's warmth comes from the way it gently untangles that loneliness, showing how even a simple act of reaching out can change everything. Writing style and tone. Clare Pooley's writing is light yet layered, witty yet sincere. Her background in marketing and memoir, writing her first book, The Sober Diaries, chronicled her journey through addiction recovery, gives her prose a conversational tone that's both accessible and emotionally resonant. She balances humor and heartache with ease, creating moments that make readers laugh out loud one page and tear up the next. Another notable strength is her ability to blend comedy with social commentary. While the book is undeniably feel good, it also touches on real issues. The marginalization of the elderly, generational misunderstanding, the struggle for purpose after retirement, and the search for identity at any age. Poole never lectures, instead, she lets her characters embody these themes through their choices and conversations. Strengths of the novel: rich characterization. Every member of the ensemble feels alive and fully realized, each with their own fears, desires, and quirks. Empowering message: the book redefines aging as something dynamic and full of potential rather than decline. Humor and warmth. Poulet's humor is compassionate, not cynical. She invites laughter with her characters, never at them. Community of spirit. The story's heart lies in its depiction of human connection, solidarity, and the healing power of friendship. Relatable themes. When you are 25 or 75, the novel's themes of belonging, purpose, and self discovery resonate deeply. Clare Pooley's How to Age Disrespect Gracefully is more than just a feel good novel. It's a love letter to imperfection, rebellion, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. It reminds us that aging is not a retreat from life but an evolution of it. Through her casts of misfits and dreamers, Pule delivers a story brimming with warmth, humor, and truth. This novel invites readers to question how they define success, happiness, and self worth. It celebrates the fact that joy and purpose are not limited by youth, that friendship can bloom in unexpected places, and that it's never too late to rewrite your story, no matter your age. How to Age Disgracefully ultimately teaches us that the most disgraceful thing we can do is stop living boldly. And in that sense, Clare Pooley's book is not just fiction, it's an anthem for anyone who refuses to fade quietly. So the next book which we're going to see today in this video, which is another funny story, is HR approved ways to see things I can't say out loud at work. Introduction. In every workplace, there comes a moment when professionalism collides with frustration. Whether it's the co-worker who takes credit for your ideas, the managers who schedules yet another quick meetings at 4:55 p.m., or the endless stream of corporate buzzwords that seem to replace real conversation, most employees have felt the temptation to say what they really think. But since we all live under the watchful eye of HR, approved communication politics says we hold our tongues and replace our raw honesty with something polished, polite, and painfully diplomatic. This daily balancing act between what we want to say and what we should say is the hilarious and relatable foundation of HR approved ways to say things. I can't say out loud at work. A witty and sharply observed humor book that has taken the professional world by storm. Written as both satire and survival. It captures the unspoken truths of office life through clever translation of real thoughts. Of real thoughts into workplace appropriate language. The result is a funny, cathartic and strangely useful book that gives voice to what millions of workers quietly feel every day. Behind its humor, however, lies a subtle truth. The modern workplace often demands emotional restraint at the expense of authenticity. In learning to navigate the tension with grace, and a sense of humor is an art form in itself. Overview and structure. The book's premise is simple but brilliant. Each page typically contains the two versions of a statement. What I want to say: blunt, honest, sometimes rude. Sometimes rude, occasionally unhinged. What I actually say: HR approved, polished, indirect, and painfully diplomatic. For example, what I want to say: you have no idea what you are talking about. HR approved version. That's an interesting perspective. Let's circle back once we have more data. These exchanges form the backbone of the book's humor. They are quick, punchy, and often between these exchanges the book includes snippets of commentary about corporate life, endless meetings, toxic positivity, performative teamwork, offline families, and managers who think a free pizza party compensates for burnout. Every scenario feels drawn from real experience, making the book as much social commentary as its humor. Themes: the art of the main theme revolves around translation, the act of converting raw emotion into acceptable speech. This reflects a broader reality of modern corporate communication. Honesty is valued, but only if it's framed in ways. Only if it's valued in frames. The book exaggerates this truth, comedic effect, but it also points to something real. Pooley's humor here functions as a mirror. It shows how workers often become fluent in corporate dialect corporate dialect, saying let's visit this later instead of this is nonsense. It's both absurd and true, which is what makes it funny. Emotional regulation in the mask of professionalism. The book implicitly comments on the emotional labor required in most workplaces. Employees are expected to stay calm, friendly, and neutral, even when faced with rudeness, incompetence, or unfairness. By laughing at these translations, readers find a form of release. The book acknowledges how much effort goes into maintaining a professional persona, how much we filter, edit, and disguise our real emotions just to survive office life. It's a humor as therapy. Tone and style. The writing is conversational, direct, and dripping with sarcasm. Each page delivers quick, digestible humor that perfects for casual reading. Something you can flip open during a lunch break or share with co-workers. The simplicity of its format is what makes it effective. You don't need to read in order. Every page is a small, contained joke that hits close to home. Yet, despite the humor, there is a sharp intelligence beneath the jokes. The authors clearly understand corporate dynamics. The language is crisp and punchy, leaning heavily on contrast. Leaning heavily on contrast, each real thought is brutally honest, while the HR approved translation is full of buzzwords. Hedging and strategic politeness. The sharp difference is what creates the laugh out loud effect. Conclusion: HR approved ways to see things that I can't say out loud at work is far more than a novelty book. It's a sharp, funny, and deeply relatable reflection on the modern workplace. Through its clever juxtapositions and biting wit, it captures the tension between honesty and professionalism that defines contemporary office life. It's a perfect book for anyone who's ever clenched their jaw during a meeting, written an email 5 times to should sound neutral or silently muttered. Muttered sarcasm under their breath. While it doesn't aim to fix corporate culture, it offers something equally valuable, a chance to laugh at it. In the end, its message is both humorous and wise. If you can't say what you really mean, at least find a clever way to think it and laugh about it later. The next book which we going to see today in this video is that Why Mummy Drinks on Holiday by Gill Sims. Introduction. Holidays are supposed to be perfect. They are meant to be one time of the year when families reconnect, when the stress of work disappears, and when life suddenly slows down. The rhythm of waves and sunsets. But anyone who's ever been a parent knows the word holiday rarely means rest. In Why Mummy Drinks on Holiday, Gill Slims, the witty, brutally honest voice behind this is not just a story about a mother on a holiday gone wrong. It's about what happens when our expectations of perfection collide with real life. It's about love that's loud and chaotic. It's about guilt, laughter, exhaustion, and rediscovering joy in the middle of utter bedlam. Gil Slims captures this beautifully with wit, warmth, and an honesty that hits straight to the heart. The plot: our familiar, much loved protagonist Ellen is back. This time, she's decided to take a sabbatical from her demanding job. Her mission: to create the ultimate family summer. In her mind, this summer will be idyllic. She imagines wicker picnic baskets, vintage bicycles, laughter echoing across meadows, and slow, sunlit days where everyone gets along. She wants to be the calm, creative, present mothers she's always dreamt of being. The kind of mother who bakes homemade snacks and captures perfect moments on Instagrams. But of course, reality has other plans. From the moment the holiday begins, Ellen's idolized summer unravels. Her teenage children, Peter and Jane, are constantly glued to their phones, rolling their eyes at every attempt to make family memories. Her best friend Hannah, who was supposed to be her partner in wine and sanity, disappears to reunite with her ex in South Africa. Ellen is left to juggle an increasingly chaotic cast of relatives, including a mother in law with unsolicited opinions and a sister in law obsessed with crystals and energy healing. As the days go by, Ellen's dream of the perfect summer begins to melt faster than the ice in her rose glass. Humor that feels like therapy. Gill claims her the gift for making laughter feels like release. Her humor is sharp but kind, sarcastic yet sincere. What makes Why Mummy Drinks on Holiday stand out is that it's not simply a string of comic moments. It's humor grounded in truth. Every joke comes from a place of deep understanding of the exhaustion of parenthood. The absurdity of social expectations and the quiet heartbreak. Quiet heartbreak of trying to be everything to everyone. For instance, when Ellen scrolls through photos of perfect, yummy mummy influencers who seem to have tamed their children and conquered the world, Sims captures the collective sigh of mothers everywhere. It's a kind of humor that doesn't mock, it empathizes. Conclusion: Why Mummy Drinks on Holiday is more than a comedy about parenting disasters. It's a tender, funny, and painfully honest story about being human. It reminds us that life does not have to be perfect to be beautiful. The motherhood isn't about control, but connection. That holidays, like families, are best enjoyed when you stop trying to make them flawless and simply let them unfold. Gill Slims once again proves that laughter and loves are not opposites, they are survival tools. So this is all we have from these three of the books. I hope you guys like the stories, like the humor that has been added in these three of the books. If you did, don't forget to press the like button. And if you wanted to suggest any other book for a review, you can tell me in the comment section. I'll be back with another videos, with another books to give a review on. Till then, just take care and goodbye.